Okay, I felt bad that my video ended too quickly again. So I'll just go through this last bit, since these things would be on your final if we were going to have a final together, which I got to figure that out. I got to figure out what's going to happen with that because I have to get you ready for Miss Douglas. Um, so allegory, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but it's when you have a symbol that stands for an idea. So the conch representing like democracy and how it can be kind of chaotic at times because lots of different people have a voice, but it is probably a more fair system for sure. But then, you have Jack's knife, and that could represent totalitarianism, like the evil uh, weapons of totalitarianism. As I've discussed in my last two videos, it might represent the violence, that there's only one way to see things. And this is just like a fable is just kind of like Animal Farm, but this is just something important for us to know that sometimes authors use fables to tell a truth, and that's where we get into satire. Sometimes it can like deflect some of the criticism off of them because what they're saying is very controversial, like George Orwell when he wrote Animal Farm, obviously. Dystopian. This is dystopias. This is going to be something you'll read about in your summer reading next year, but I know that A Brave New World is about a dystopian world. So is Handmaid's Tale. And so this is a situation that's characterized by suffering. It's the opposite of a utopia. Remember, we read about the Shakers, and they were probably the closest ever to a utopia, but this is the opposite. And Hunger Games is dystopian. Satire, there's two types, okay? Use humor to kind of poke fun at society's vices, and that's the Horatian satire. It's lighthearted. So it's something like Jimmy Fallon's Ew. Jimmy Fallon makes fun of a teenage girl, and it's just lighthearted, like mocking. It's not caustic. It's not aggressive. And sorry, I think this is like a different version of this is like PowerPoint converted to Google Slides, so it doesn't look very pretty. But Horatian satire is lighthearted. This would be maybe an example of this could be like, "Oh brother, where art thou?" Although I'd say parts of it are harsh, but most of that movie was lighthearted. Kind of pokes fun of the idea of a hero. Juvenalian satire, though, that's harsh. That's Animal Farm. That's Lord of the Flies. Like William Golding looked into mankind's soul and had no pity for him, and showed the ugly side of society. So that would be an example of your Juvenalian type. So I was just going to look at a couple of really old comics, which it's good to look at old comics because then like it's not as controversial, I suppose. Sometimes when time goes by, you don't have to worry about offending someone's politics. But anytime the news media interviews people at a political rally like Occupy Wall Street or Tea Party years, they always find the craziest person. And I think that is that lighthearted, or is that kind of like a harsh portrayal of the news media? I think this is pretty harsh portrayal because this is a dark figure here. So maybe that one, I'd say Juvenalian satire. This one, oh, these political cartoons are kind of harsh. Here we have, well, the people seem like they're indoctrinated. This is propaganda here. United we stand. But this is during a time of, this actually could fit now, but maybe I'd say this is another example of that. Juvenalian satire is kind of harsh and mocking and contemptuous. And then these two, gosh, this one's a little lighthearted, but it says, imagine living under a dictator for more than 40 hours a week. I think it's just lightly poking fun, but it's also making a good point. So maybe Horatian satire. And this is definitely not a flattering portrayal of the movie maker Michael Moore. This is definitely Juvenalian satire. So I just wanted to show you guys some more examples.